We are at a boot camp here in Germany, and we saw this old nice Kirovets, but it's a special one. Can you tell me a little bit about this tractor?
Traktor, it's grown up on an idea back home. We just get a little model before and just think, oh, maybe we try that back home. Same thing, to change it over to 6x6. Started one day to try the axle, to really have it not 6x4s for a 6x6, and just did the axle first thing and then decided to do the rest of the tractor, because we find out we make the axle working for the 6x6. And then that was the start of the tractor, to change it over.
Yeah, what kind of axles are they?
That's original axles from Kirovets. We had some back home in a shed, and just took it out the shed and converted over for the third axle to make it running.
When was this? Was it?
That was all this year.
This year, yeah.
And we started on Monday, and the test drive was on Friday. So we did all that in 1 week.
Have you been running the tractor some hours now, or?
Yeah, we did some hours. We tried it back home. We have very heavy ground, like clay, very hard clay. And we do like deep cultivating. So we go 60, 70 centimeters deep in the ground back home, and this is what we do.
And but this is just for fun, it's not, or is it going to work?
The first time it was only like hobby. And then we decided, okay, we have the tractor, maybe we just get it running and do a little bit work with it. So we get a Querneland cultivator for deep work. It's only 3 meters wide, but it's still heavy enough. So we have to make it even smaller sometimes to have it working. And we had the V8 tractor before, the Kirovets, what is it, 700A? It's the V8. And it's so heavy ground back home that we have to make it easier for work. And it's just, the tractor is heavy, but it's still not heavy enough to pull it through the ground. It's just like you drive it and it just stops sometimes, like you drive against the wall or something.
Okay.
And then we fill the tires with water to make it more heavy, and what's still not enough. And then comes the idea up, what can you do to have more traction? To buy something with tracks, it's just too expensive. And because it's still hobby. And the price for a set of tracks, like Susi tracks or whatever you can buy, or you have a Polish manufacturer, I think, you can buy something, but it's still 50, 60, 70,000 euros. For what? The tractor is not even worth it. For that price you can buy 5 or 6 tractors. And then we start to think to change it over to a 6x6.
How much did this cost then?
I can't really tell you, because I have a friend, he just scrapped the tractor, and we just came there in the right moment, and we just give him the money for the scrap, and we bring it back home just for spare parts the first time, because you never know if you get parts or not sometimes. And then we just started to convert it over then, because we had the parts back home. We just started with it. That was the idea then.
Yeah. When you say back home, where are you living?
We are very east in Germany. It's called Oderbruch. It's it's very deep ground, like we are below the sea level even.
Okay.
That was before swamp area. Even you had a lot fishermen or all these little villages. They are in the middle of waterland, you can say.
Okay,
and they all live from fish and all that years back, very far behind. And they dry all that land out, and then it become like farmland, but very, very heavy, because we have a lot of clay, and it's not easy to work there. Sometimes you have just a small layer on top with clay, and then you have like loose ground on the bottom, with sand and all that. Then you have to know what you do in that kind of area. But sometimes if you work too deep, the water comes up from the bottom. It pushes up from the river between Poland and Germany. That river, Oder is called. We call it Oder in Germany. And sometimes it comes the other way around. So you have to know what you do.
Okay, back to the Kirovets then. Have you modified the engine, and now it's 6x6, but anything more is modified with it?
No, not really. We just changed the steering, because before was like mechanical and hydraulic, and now it's only hydraulic, like a loader or something, or like the new Traktor. It's same thing.
Should we take a look at it? You can tell us a little bit and show us what you have made.
The only main difference is normally the middle axle on that Traktor now. We converted that to have a shaft going through the axle now, to have the last one running. And that's normally the biggest difference. And everything else is still original, Kirovets. Even the frame, we used front frame to extend the back end of the Traktor.
And you had to new hydraulic lines and...
We have to extend everything, yeah.
Look.
And change everything over. And modified a little bit, like the brakes and all that, and the hitch for the trailer. That's all not original. That comes off Deutz Traktor. A dealership back home sponsored that for us.
Okay.
We get a good price of them, very cheap.
Yeah.
We still have some friends back home, they help a little bit.
Yeah.
With all that.
And the tires came with the other tractor, the scrap one, or?
No, we set the new tires, and we still have another 2 tractors back home, Kirovets.
Okay.
And we get the good tires off them tractors and put the old or the bad tires onto them. Also, if you drive around, you don't want to come with old or bad tires.
Oh no.
It's a little bit even for the eye. But for the traction is normally not a big difference if they're a bit worse or not. Because Traktor is heavy enough now. We have around 19-20 tons. Depends if all the tires are filled with water or not. Now we don't have them filled in the front because we have to lower them for the transport on the road. Yes.
And how many horsepower are in this engine now?
That's they built them with 270 horsepower, the first one, and they go up 300, 400 or something, and 500 horsepower, them kind of engines, V12 engines. But I guess that kind of engine is around 300. I can't really tell you, because you never know.
Okay.
It's even the old engine. You can see that by the heads. The newer version of the engine, they have like single heads on top, and that's the old one. You have like for 3 pistons 1 head, and they are a little bit more solid. That's what they say. I can't tell you because we have that engine in now for 4 or 5 weeks now, not more. And
can we take a look at the engine?
We can take a look, it's no problem, yeah. Yeah, it's a lot engine for that small tractor.
Have you been, do you have to be, renovate it, or was it running?
No, that engine was sitting in a yard of a friend for, I think, 10 years or more. Because we get that engine out the tractor. Some people try to overhaul a tractor. So they put it in bits and pieces and then they give up. And a friend, he got that tractor back home and it was sitting there for another couple of years. And we had the problem with the engine before. That engine was overheating and then it was seized. It just stopped. I was talking to him and he said, oh, he have a tractor with engine completely, but the tractor is in bits and pieces. So we drove over to him, get the tractor and the engine and everything, bring it back home, and then we just start and change the engine and convert it over from the V8 to the V12.
Was it hard work to make it fit? Do you have to do new mounts on the stuff?
No. Kirovets is a little bit ahead of that because they built one frame for that tractor where everything fits, even the 12 or the V8 engine. The only difference is the cooling package and the pump housing in the back. It's different. On the drive shaft and couple oil lines and all that you have to change for the transmission cooling and all that, and the engine cooling. Because that engine is cooled, have oil cooling, and even the transmission have oil cooling at that time already. And transmission have only a couple liters in it. It's for that size transmission. It's not a lot.
Okay.
But it works good. Even the engine, the pump housing on the engine, where all the hydraulic pumps and like the clutch, you can say, sits in it. It's all lubricated through the transmission. It just pumps up into the pump housing and then it runs back down in the transmission. So you have only one oil sump to lubricate all the transmissions, the one on the engine and the transmission himself.
And this is, you said you can recognize it if it's an old engine or a new one. It's this.
That's the old type of engine. You can see that by the head, because you have one head for 3 pistons.
Yeah.
And the later version of the engine have for every head a single, also for every piston a single head on top. And the most people who run these kind of tractors, they guess that the old engine is better. But we have to find out now. We can't say that.
We have not enough. It's going to be a test today, maybe.
We tested already back home a little bit.
Yeah.
Because the time we put the engine in, we bring it on Thursday back home, and on Friday evening the engine was in. And on Saturday morning we went out for a little like a car event back home, and they asked us to come with the tractor and some other stuff we have back home. And the next morning we was leaving the yard back home with the trailer, and no test drive, nothing, just on the road.
Okay.
And go ahead. And then we just have to stop. One time we was losing a little bit diesel because one line was broken, but I mean, the engine was sitting for 10, 12, 15 years in the yard. So no, that was not really an issue. We just fixed it and that's it. And then we drove on to that festival.
Should we take a look in the cabin as well?
Yeah, we can go. It's no problem.
Have you been modifying anything in here?
Only the seat.
Was it the old one was broke?
No, you don't want to sit on that one, the original one. I mean, later on we will put some insulation or something in it, even for the noise. But step by step, we can't do everything at one time.
It's loud to drive.
No, it's not too bad. but after a while it goes into your head. That's why we have the Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, yeah.
If you sit in it for a full day, then you get a big head. But
And how's the transmission? Can you tell me about how to?
Transmission is normally very easy. It's like a power shift transmission in that tractor. I mean, the construction is from the 60s, I think, and it's still the same technique today. And that transmission can handle the V8 up to the V12 with 500 horsepower they built on the end. And no problem, it just holds, it didn't break, it just works. You just have to make sure there's all the time oil in it.
How many gears are there?
You have the slow gear, the fast gear and reverse on that one. And then you can split it with that one in half, the transmission. And that one here is for the all-wheel drive. If you don't use it, you just run the tractor on the front axle for transport or whatever. And then you have on that one the for like power shift is it. So you can shift them without using the clutch. So the only thing on that transmission is like to put a gear in. You have to brake the shafts inside. So and you use the same lever for the brake and inside the transmission where you use even the power shift. And you have to do that to put the gear in, because the shafts inside rotate so fast you cannot put the gear in if the engine is running. So you have to brake the shafts inside, stop them rotating, and then you can put the gear in. And then you can run the tractor without using the clutch, just to start driving, and then you have the 4 steps in the gearbox you can use.